Okay, so here we are, town of Suwanee. Our trip is over. Last night before they come pick us up tomorrow, instead of setting up the wedding dress, we're playing dominoes under the street light because no bugs really. I mean, we had a little bit of no-see-em stuff biting us, but now smiley faces all around. Smiley faces all around. There we have it, playing dominoes under the streetlight. Here we are, day 21. We just left the Great River Camp. We found it, we were getting kind of concerned because most of it's swampy, just like that, but we found a high and dry, looked great. We're out on the river. This looks like our probably last day of paddle, but we shall see. To be continued, day 21. Okay, here we are, day 20, Fanning Springs. We spent the night at Fanning Springs, which was kind of nice, actually. They have a place that you can pull off for emergency camping when there are kayakers or canoeists on the river. They make it real nice for everybody. We had a ranger, her name was Diana, and she was very cordial. Told us everything that we need to know about staying here, and it turned out to be a really nice evening. Started off muggy and then it kind of got cool. And we are headed back out that way to the Suwannee River to continue our adventure. Okay, here we are, day 18 at Gorto Springs. We got the storms coming in, so we're laying off the paddle. The inmate crew came by to make sure our toilets were clean, and Dean was over there. He'd already plugged one up. They had to use the plunger. So here we sit, all broken-hearted. Can't get on the river, so Dean has farted. We are 187.6 miles in. What do you think, Lord Beth?
About what?
Life in general. Our paddle.
Having a great time.
Okay, that's awesome. What about you, Mindy?
Peachy, man.
See?
Just peachy.
See? And here we are. We will continue on our journey tomorrow after the weather. The big problem is not really that much the rain, but the wind. When you get out there on that river and it's blowing in your face, it's slow to paddle. And then we were trying to figure out where in the world we would stay on the river. We did check one spring that's down Hart Spring down the way, and we couldn't get any information on whether or not we could camp there, whether there's tent camping off the river. So we figured our best option was to stay right where we are. So that's what we're doing. Dominoes under the wedding dress. All right, so this is a little different than most. This is called Rock Bluff Spring. And you probably, I don't know if you can see the color difference in the water or not, but this is a little short paddle to get back to this one. But the water coming off the river turns crystal clear. And now we're heading back to find the actual spring, Rock Bluff. Another spring inlet. So it looks like it goes back a little further. And we'll be checking it out. This is the view. All right, here we are. Another spring, Campbell's Cut. Oh, it's amazing when you find these things. They're just little indentations in the side of the bank. They're so cool though. Let's get a look down inside Campbell's Cut. Get back in here, the water becomes from tannic to crystal clear. Very cool. What's this one called? And this is called Turtle Spring. Look at the rock formations underneath. All the vents, different vents for the spring. There's a great big cypress tree down in there. These springs don't look very deep, but they're actually probably 40 foot anyway. Very cool. Here we come up on many springs we've found along the way. This is another one tucked back in the bank. Back here behind this big old cypress tree. Okay, here we are, day 17 on the Suwannee River. There's a pretty place over there, a really nice place over there. We got up, a nice sunny day. The forecast is for a little bit of different weather for the next couple days because there's a tropical storm or hurricane or whatever it is, Raphael. It's coming up into the Gulf. We'll see what happens. Today we started out at 175.5 and we're gonna be going past Bob's River Place pretty soon. That again. Here we are at Little River Springs. Got some divers back here. They said full cave dive here, a little over 100 feet. We'll take a look. Let's see what it looks like down there. All right, here we are, day 16 of the river camp. We're leaving Adams Track in the morning, a little earlier than we normally get started, try to miss some of the wind. Forecast for the week is maybe we'll get a little bit of rain, we'll see. We're headed off in another direction, and there goes our last hot shower. Found a little island in the river. Kind of cool. Nowhere close to where we want to camp. Otherwise we would. Okay, here we are, day 15. We spent a night at the rendezvous. 15. We spent a night at the rendezvous. Had hot showers, hot meals. It was nice. We are now at 150.7 on our trip, heading south. Kind of cool. We come around a corner and see a old swing bridge. Wouldn't that be nice to go ahead and make your house on that? Okay, so we came in across another one. It's called Running Springs. Running Springs boils right out of that rock and at the base. It looks like maybe somebody lives here because they have a dock up there that says, "Get off, stay away. Don't use my stuff." Anyway, very cool place. It's got a nice little opening all the way around, and then it goes out to the river. Quite nice. Here's another little hidden gem come bubbling up. You can smell this one. It's definitely sulfur water. How cool is that? Out here in the river. Here we are traveling down the river, and guess what we run across? Another spring. It's tucked up in the bank. You can just barely notice it when you come by with all the clear water coming out of it. It's pretty deep, and it rolls back up underneath that bank, underneath the rocks. You can tell people use it, and they come down and swim in it because there's actually a trail coming back down through here. And there's a really cool house. It's older, across the lake or across the river over there. It might be the reason they put that there. Okay, here we are, day 12 on the river. Last night we found a hidden gem. Heading down the river, couldn't find any place to stay, running a little bit late than we normally do for finding a campsite. And we found a little slit in the bank, and it went up to a campsite with chairs, a fire ring, plenty of wood, freshly mowed. We are so lucky. All right, here we are on the Suwannee, and now we're this is one of the Withlacoochee rivers coming in right there. And as we turn, I'm not sure, that is a train bridge, and the one behind it is, I'm not sure what road number that is. But this is where the Withlacoochee of the North meets the Suwannee River. Oh, as we move south, we're starting to see a lot more damage from the storm. The trees are defoliaged, so the winds are really high for a sustained amount of time. A lot of trees are down. We've been passing houses where the sheds are all torn off. Some of the screen rooms are damaged. Lots of trees busted off. They have a whole crew out here working the rivers that FEMA hired to clean the rivers. Okay, here we are, day 11, 103.3 miles. We start off, we stayed at a really nice sandy beach last night. Seemed to have a bit of a headwind, but all is good. We are heading towards the Gulf. Gulf of Mexico, Suwannee town. We're going to Bill's Fish Camp, or something along those lines. The journey's over. 238.4. I'll update that when we get there and actually pull off on a ramp. Okay, so here we are. We have officially, at this spot on the river, calculated our first 100 miles. How cool is that? It don't get much better than this. Okay, dear diary, this is day 9. We just left our campsite east of I-75, which really was nice. We're heading, actually right now we're heading northwest on the river. Water's flowing pretty decently, so it makes for a little easier paddle. We're headed to Woods Ferry River Camp, which is closed from what we understand, but we're just gonna go in there and check it out. Anyway, day 9. Here we are, day 10. Day 10 starts out really well because we stayed with Nancy at her place. We met her on the river, and she was kind enough to invite us in and let us use her dock and her porch and hook up our boxes and charge everything. And she even let us use her outdoor shower, so we all smell nice again. So we've started at 93 38 and we're working our way south. Don't know where we'll end up, but we end up somewhere. Here we are. Okay, here we are making a trip from the river to historic White Springs. Because there's a Dollar General, we want something cold to drink. Here we are, the morning of day 8. We just came out of the campground at Big Shoals, just hit the river, rode a little bit of, I say bumps in the river, but they call them rapids. And we are headed towards our next destination, whatever that happens to be. All right, this is Big Shoals Park. These are the big rapids. Unfortunately, our kayaks are too heavy with gear to do them, but I will be back. All right, day 6, we made it to the big shoals. Big, heavy kayaks are not designed for drop-offs. When they bend in the middle, they have a tendency to break the scupper hole where it runs between the top and the bottom of the kayak. And these things will bend in the middle, and that's not a good thing. And there's Mean Dean over there, relaxing. Okay, here we are at the big shoals. That's when you got your kayaks loaded, these big drop-offs could actually cause some pretty bad damage. If they break it off right at one of the scupper holes that goes from one end or the top side of your kayak to the bottom, you got a real mess at that point. So these drop-offs with a heavy kayak, we questioned that. Would that be smart? It would probably be okay if we were only doing the rapids in one day, but we got about 15 more days to go. So if you break a kayak and have 15 days, you might be sitting on the side of the river going, damn it, what was I thinking? Okay, here we are, the big shoals campground. Well, for the people that portage around the rapids, you can see them out there. I'll show you that in a minute. But this is what you have to do. About, I don't know, it's probably about 200 yards up this path. You have to carry all your stuff to go around those, which I'll show you those in just a minute. Okay, as we make the turn in the river, this is sign up there. Tells you about this is the walking way to get around the shoals. You can hear the shoals. They are right there. That's Big Shoals. We're in Big Shoals State Park. We're going to do some surveying and see about whether or not to go over the shoals or around the shoals. But nevertheless, we are camping up there. So we've seen quite a few of these pylons along the river. Must have been bridges out through here when maybe they were timbering this area. Not sure whether that would be a train, but they're all riveted together, so they are old. That's before they welded stuff. All right, here we are in the Suwannee River. We just left a place that said security cameras in place, but it was a beautiful spot to camp. Fortunately, no one came down, threw us off. We are now on the Suwannee, day 6, and we're at 63.4 miles. Let's go ahead and call it what it is. This is our first trip on what we'd consider just the bumpy part of the river. A bumpy part of the river, AKA not really rapids, just a bumpy part of the river. But it's a lot more bumpy than the smoothie we've been on for the past 50 miles. That is an amazing spot to camp at, 43.8 miles. So here we are, we made a turn on the Suwannee at mile 42, 43. And this is our first experience with the Suwannee showing us its limestone. Okay, so here we are, packed up on day 4, getting ready to hit the Suwannee. It's a balmy, hotter than a fire right now, because that's what happens when you start packing things up. But we're good to go. This was our latest campsite on the Suwannee. It was actually quite a nice one that we weren't supposed to be at. Okay, so here we are. We stopped in the middle of the river, kind of cool little sandbar, and we're gonna have a little lunch. And there's me and Dean, the dancing machine. Yeah, this is a beautiful little sandbar just right here in the middle of the river. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Not a bad place to hang out. Okay, here we are, morning of day 2. This is, everything is wet. The dew is super heavy. We're getting our breakfast ready. And this is the road. There's me and Dean. He's coming back from the bathroom to give us a report. Okay, so this is looking down towards the Suwannee River. This is Griffiths Park. Unfortunately, Mr. Griffiths, after 3 generations, this park was started in the 1800s. And after 3+ generations, Mr. Griffith is not doing well. He's 90-something years old now. And unfortunately has 5 daughters. And the one that is inheriting the park is not interested in keeping it open. So no one knows the fate. Sounds pretty sad. There's the Suwannee River. And then as you come through here, this is an abandoned building that they were going to use as a welcome station, but the locals told them not to build it here, it would flood. And guess what? It flooded. So we're on our way to Fargo, Georgia to launch all this crap, and now Big Dave's over here in passenger seat. Lord Best driving us, and Mean Dean is taking a nap. And there's some gear. Let's just say there's some gear. There's a Kyraks back there riding safely. We're on our way to the big trip.